Okay, let's have some fun with this one. This is the story of a little gal named Brandy, and this story has some dialogue included. So let's work on punctuating the story of this gal named Brandy. Let's do this together. Okay, let's have some fun with this. Remember that as we punctuate this, we want to listen for the natural pauses. So I'm going to read it through, then I'm going to go through and make a few little corrections and then show you. So this will be fun. We'll take a couple of minutes and do this. Let's start by reading it through. There's a port on a western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day. Lonely sailors pass their time away and talk about their homes. All right, so that is going to be, well, a sentence. And we have two complete sentences joined together. Okay, let's stop it right there. That's the end of the sentence. There's a port on a western bay and it serves 100 ships a day. There we go, complete sentence. Lonely sailors pass the time away and talk about their homes. There's a girl in this harbor town and she works laying whiskey down. They say, "Brandy, fetch another round." She serves them whiskey and wine. The sailors say, "Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Yeah, your eyes could steal a sailor from the sea." Brandy wears a braided chain made of finest silver from the north of Spain, a locket that bears the name of the man that Brandy loved. He came on a summer's day bringing gifts from far away, but he made it clear he couldn't stay. No harbor was his home. The sailors say, "Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Yeah, your eyes could steal a sailor from the sea." Brandy used to watch his eyes when he told his sailor stories. She could feel the ocean fall and rise and saw his raging glory. But he had always told the truth. Lord, he was an honest man. And Brandy does her best to understand. At night, when the bars close down, Brandy walks through a silent town and loves a man who's not around. She still can hear him say, she hears him say, "Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. But my life, my love, and my lady is the sea." All right, I'm going to go through and make a couple of little corrections here, and then I'm going to ask you to help me do some of the rest. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I took it down to right about here. So this is the first sentence. The second sentence, lonely sailors pass the time away and talk about their homes. Notice there's no comma here before "and" because this second clause is not an independent clause. So we don't need a comma there. We have an independent clause, subject, verb, sailors, pass. The second clause is talk is the only thing that's there, is just the verb. So we can use this conjunction, and, or, for, nor, but, yet, without a comma. You already know this. I'm just passing through this. Now, the next sentence, and there's a girl in this harbor town, and she works laying whiskey down. End of the story. They say, comma, quote, "Brandy, fetch another round," exclamation point, and quotation marks. She serves them whiskey and wine. Period. End of sentence. The sailors say, comma, exclamation point, "Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Yeah, your eyes could steal a sailor from the sea." So now we have one independent clause here. Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. And then we're using a semicolon to add this second related short sentence together. Yeah, your eyes could steal a sailor from the sea. And because that has a subject, what's the subject of this part? That's correct, eyes. And what's the verb of this part? Steal. That's correct. Brandy wears a braided chain. Now we're going to start something here, and I'm wondering if you think this should be a new paragraph, because we've gone from the description of what she does for a living and how the sailors talk to her, but now we're going into a more in-depth about Brandy and this chain that she wears. So let's make a new paragraph there. We have a new topic sentence here. This topic is going to be about this locket and where it came from and so forth, whereas the topic sentence of this was the location of the story and a little bit about how she fits into that location. Now we're moving into more about her and the story about this chain. Let me make a few corrections. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've punctuated this little part about the chain and the guy who gave her the chain. So just listen for the pauses. Brandy wears a braided chain made of finest silver from the north of Spain, a locket that bears the name of the man that Brandy loved. He came on a summer's day bringing gifts from far away, but he made it clear he couldn't stay. No harbor was his home. The sailors say, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Yeah, your eyes could steal a sailor from the sea. Now she's going to go into the next part of the story, is going to develop more about this relationship with this sailor who came into town. So this should be a new paragraph, right? Because the topic of this paragraph was the story of the braided chain and where it came from. And we've given that information now. So we are now moving into something where we're going into more detail about this guy. So that's going to be a new paragraph. I'm going to punctuate that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we pick up this third short paragraph. Brandy used to watch his eyes. Now remember that we've moved on here, so we're talking about him. Not the locket that he gave her, but some information about him. So that's the topic of this short paragraph. Brandy used to watch his eyes when he told his sailor stories. She could feel the ocean fall and rise. She saw its rage and glory. But he had always toward the truth. Lord, he was an honest man. And Brandy does her best to understand. Oh. At night, when the bars close down, Brandy walks through a silent town and loves a man who's not around. She still can hear him say, she hears him say, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. But my life, my lover, my lady is the sea. It is. Yes, it is. So that's the story of our Brandy. So that's what it looks like as a very short story in little paragraphs. Let's see what it looks like if it was written out as a poem or as a ballad. So that's what it would look like. And that's kind of an interesting formatting with this inset here. So let's hear a reading of sorts of this particular story about our darling Brandy, who just had her little heart broken. Let's have a listen. So click on the little picture or the alternative text, and let's have a listen about what this little short story might sound like. That concludes this tutorial on fun with punctuation.